I'll be calling you a radical. We're headed to the mini dome to see the little NUKIE bowl, the SMR, here in Pocatello. So the little NUKIE or SMR bowl in the mini dome. So you can drive and talk at the same time, Kev. Pay attention to the road. What's your keys to the game?
Don't let Matt Hammer call the plays.
Jay Hill, let him call. Okay, I'll go for that. So
Jay Hill call the plays instead of Matt Hammer.
So they're not going to get 3 fake punts this week.
No, they're not.
How about Eastern Washington coach? You think he's on the hot seat? How do you allow 3 fake punts in the same game? One was from their home ball. But Weber was a whole other team up there on that ugly red rug. They look good.
They did.
The offensive line, but that offensive line, they got Chris Jackson back. He had the key fumble, but he played big. But that offensive line, I mean, you could have run through that moles. And so I got a hunch, indoor on the rug, if they kick, Rashid needs one more return kick to become the all-time record in the whole country for return kicks. Now, they don't kick to him, they don't kick to him, they don't kick to him. I got a hunch he'll break it today. And so I look for Rashid to have a giant game today. And in the press conference after the game, Jay was asked, he overrode your buddy Matt Hammer and said, whatever you do, you throw a deep ball to Rashid. Rashid's triple team. Rashid goes up and gets it. It should have been a touchdown. He came down just a couple inch line, 44 yards. And that idiot Graybill asked him, well, you do good this, I can't believe he even does play-by-play, but Jay Hill called that play. You know, and so get the ball to Rashid.
Yep.
Lightning, that's the key to this game. Get the ball to Rashid, let him do his thing, whether it's reverses, whether it's flare screen pass. The thing that's so good about Rashid is, I call him lightning, as you know, is those hands. He's got NFL hands.
NFL hands and NFL speed.
Yeah, big time. So
he runs the routes perfectly as well.
So he'll play in the next level. So he reminds me a little bit of Steve Smith in college.
Yeah.
And Steve Smith, when he was drafted by the Panthers, Steve Smith, I remember he returned a kickoff. That was his role. He was a kick returner. First kickoff he ever fielded, he fumbled inside his own 20 and a short touchdown. The second one he fielded, he fumbled. So you think his career's done. Thank God the coach believed in him and let him return another one. And he ran it back for a touchdown, and you're talking one of the stoic careers in the history of the NFL from a Utah guy. And by the way, I got my eye at, this isn't Idaho, it is Halloween. I'm going behind enemy lines, so I wore this to sneak behind because these guys are not nice up here. I'm going behind it. This is Ogden High, 1960 jacket. They think it's Idaho State.
I've got all kinds of stories from my days going to games at Pocatello.
Well, tell one.
Well, one time, but this was for basketball.
For the hockey.
Yep, it was about 2 or 3 years after Mark Matos had graduated.
Yeah.
So we went up to the game and we decided that we had to be ahead at halftime to do this. But we were ahead at halftime, so we walked around the mini dome with a sign that said, "The spirit of Mark Matos lives on."
You didn't get beat up.
Well, we didn't get beat up, but we did get a whole bunch of shit thrown at us.
I'd imagine. I was not a fan of Mark Matos.
And then this was a football game. It was the first overtime football game in NCAA history. Weber State and Idaho State.
Oh, I remember that game.
And back then they had this rule only lasted a year or two, and then they repealed it. But they had a rule that if the home team fans were too noisy, and the opposing team may be able to get another shot at a down.
Yeah, the noise rule.
The noise rule. So Mike Price was the coach. He ran a 4th and 1 run from about the 50-yard line, and Idaho State stopped him. But they called the noise roll, so Weber got another shot. And he faked the same play.
Hold that thought. So remember when I used to put my no vacancy sign on there, right there, on the nuclear wastes? They used to hang no vacancy, but they got it in anyway. Go ahead.
So anyway, I think Carlson, I can't remember if it was Jamie Martin or Jeff Carlson was the quarterback. I think it was Carlson. Carlson rolls right and throws a 50-yard touchdown pass. But anyway, the guy, Roger Ruzek, Weber's down by 3.
Yeah, that Roger Ruzek. NFL Cowboys,
Oh,
NFL
yeah.
Eagles. That Roger Ruzek.
Yes. Roger Ruzek kicked a school record, I think it was 53-yard field goal to send the game into overtime. So at the end of the third overtime, Idaho State started that one. Weber stops Idaho State. So Ruzek's going to go in and kick the game-winning field goal. He choked. He missed it. Idaho State won in 4 overtimes.
4 overtimes.
But anyway,
The noise rule. Unbelievable.
but this is there was these guys walking around, and we were right on the first row in the concrete seats. And they were going around doing their Idaho State, Idaho State, Idaho State.
It becomes as natural as occupying a bird refuge. By the way, real quickly, that's the old, remember Peterson's, the big feedlots in Ogden?
Oh yeah.
The polygamous family? They moved up here. This is their place right up here. Used to be their place, the polygamist. Go ahead. And so they were saying...
So anyway, so I would, in one of my less intelligent moments, when they were going by, I stood up right there and got their face, and they're going, Idaho State, and I'd say, sucks! Idaho State, sucks! They did that about 4 times.
They jump you?
No, it was funny. I think they just kept they kept yelling Idaho State louder, and I kept yelling sucks louder, but nothing.
It's been a hell of a rivalry. It's a good rivalry.
It is a good
I'll
rivalry.
tell you a basketball story with Idaho State. So twice.
But anyway,
Go ahead, bud.
but after the game was over, they come back there, Idaho State, Idaho State. And I admit, I stand up. This time I was a little bit more contrite. I stand up,
Yeah,
reach out my hand and says, congratulations. I said, the wrong team won, but that was a hell of a good game. I said, that was the best game I've ever watched.
That's what fans are supposed to do. So I'm up here doing the play-by-play for Lillard. And the roof was leaking. But anyway, before that, Ruben Nemhard, twice. The gym at Idaho had that goofy stripe on it, but Damien's senior year, I'm full of cancer. I've got leukemia real bad. That was the loss that cost them the home court. Weber lost, I think, 1 game all year in the conference. And they had to go to the last game of the season and play at Montana. And of course, Montana beat them. So Montana had the home court by the tiebreaker, Lillard's senior year. Now we know the year before, Weber had the home court and was ahead by 20 points at halftime and lost. Randy Ray taking the air out of the ball. So anyway, they go up there. I'm full of cancer. I'm in the bone marrow transplant at LDS. I get out, come out, back and forth. But I'm in there 2012, watching the game, and you can see Lillard had it by then. They're getting drilled. Finally, Lillard just says, fuck you, and took the game over. But it was too late. Started dropping 30, 40 footers. Boink, boink, boink. I remember talking to Damien when he was first here. I says, do you think that, because we knew he was going to be an NBA player in high school. He wanted out of Oakland. That's why he came here. I used to say, because Randy Ray's control wants to win every game 65-64. He wants to fist fight you, which I can't stand it anymore. But anyway, I always thought that it would cost. I used to ask him, "You think this is going to cost you in the draft?" Almost did. But at the end, it was that game. The scouts were watching him anyway. He knew he was going to the NBA. I knew he was going to the NBA time he was a freshman. But it was that game in this gym. He stepped on the line because he was confused because there were so many fucking lines, or he would have been at home and probably played the tournament. Idaho State beat him, and they sucked that year.
That was actually in Holt Arena.
Yeah, in Holt.
That was in Holt Arena.
And you know how the lines are on Holt Arena.
Yeah, they're confusing.
You know, same thing happened up in Idaho with Damian Lowe. The only game they lost, with the best player who ever played, the second best or third best player who ever played in Weber State history, Ruben Nembhard. You know, so of course I don't talk about Alan Holmes enough. You know Alan Holmes is probably the real father of
Byron Scott.
Yeah. And so anyway, they won 2 national championships
In the JCs.
in the old Deseret Gym, in that beautiful gym that sits vacant. So anyway, a lot of good history. What's your prediction on the game, Kev?
I think it's gonna go down to the wire. And just depends on if Weber's offense can play decent. I think Weber's probably gonna win. If Weber has to depend on the defense to win it,
Not gonna happen.
it's not going to happen. Even as good as Weber's defense is,
They are good.
you got to be able to score.
And you're on the road on this rug. This rug's fast. And so I think it's going to be like you say. I agree. I think it's going to come down to special teams. I think it's all going to come down to if they can stop Rashid or not. If they stop Rashid, I think Iowa State will beat them. But if they don't stop Rashid, I think the key to the game, is lightning. You know, he's a senior. I think he's going to break the record. Here we are in the lad. So we'll stop by Iowa State and see if we can find that missing plutonium. Now think about this. You send down to Los Alamos to pick up some plutonium for the research lab at Idaho State, and some guys have it in the back seat of their car. This is the story. Somebody broke the window out of the back of the car. Still hasn't been found. Now, you believe that story? I got a bridge I want to sell you here over the Snake River. So
It's the same one Evel Knievel jumped over?
yeah, I've never had Evil jumped up here. That was over Twin, which is so beautiful. You take 26 across Craters of the Moon, you end up over there, which I do all the time.
Oh yeah, I've done that before.
I did it just a few weeks ago, but I do it all the time. My buddy owns the bar at Atomic City. Don't tell these Idaho he's an Ogdenite. They'll try to beat him up. But anyway, so the next night after that was Monday Night Football. The weekend, he jumped on a Saturday, which was a giant event here and so beautiful up here. The sign, they played in Denver. There was a big sign that opened up the game. Dandy Don Meredith was still doing it, Frank Gifford and Howard, and it says, "Evil's next jump, Howard's mouth." God, was that a cool event. I went to it. I was up here.
No,
So-
getting back to your nuclear story though, first of all, let's say that is accurate. That is how the plutonium. What the hell are you putting plutonium in a car and leaving it in the car overnight at your hotel?
By the way, that's against the law.
And that to me that should be a felony offense right there.
Idaho State committed it. Their floor construction. They're the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate. They can do whatever. By the way, floor construction. Remember the big beautiful buses that hauled the Idaho State? Had floor all over them. Floor construction was started at Weber State University, Ogden, Utah, which is the Nuclear Energy Crime Syndicate. GE is Utah Construction, which has taken over Idaho State. So that's why I call it the Little NUKIE Bowl. So we're testing little nuclear reactors up here at Idaho National Lab, funded by Utah, the only municipality on earth that's funding them. And every time they try one, they blow up. When they peeled those guys off the ceiling up here at the SMR in 1961, Santa Susana in the valley that blew up. How about on the White Sea on 8/8/2019 blew up? So TikTok. So we're here at the mini dump. So, by the way, all these guys are sitting around doing podcasts, watching a television screen, and you're watching them, and that's what they promote. It's so disturbing. We do the work, and we don't get paid.
Nope.
We got blackballed. There's the old
But we have
racetrack.
fun.
They tore it down. They tore down the old freaking Malad racetrack. Them bastards. Remember that beautiful grandstand? Look, even Idaho's going the way
You know
of
what,
Utah.
Kevin? Though
What?
says Drew thinks he's badass for firing us
Yeah. For a job that don't pay?
for a job that doesn't pay.
Yeah.
But we have more freedom now. Yeah, granted, we don't on basketball. We're not going to get sit along press row anymore.
Yeah.
But who cares?
We just only did that for 40 years, that's all.
I mean, you did it for a long time. I did it while I was in college. And the thing is back then, when I was in college doing it for KWCR, I had the respect of the true sports information director at Weber State, and that was Brad Larson.
Yeah, he was the shit. We love him. Well, not only that, let's get real. I worked for Coach at Baglin. He was the greatest coach in Weber State history. That's saying a lot.
Absolutely.
And by the way, I'm politicking for the next head coach at Weber State. I'll end it at this. Jimmy DeGraffenreid.
Jimmy, yes.
We need a local
who knows basketball, who knows how to win, and is a Weber State guy.
And I'll tell you a great story about Jimmy. I was the liaison. I was teaching at Weber State, the #1 school business in the country, and I was on Wall Street then. I'd go back. I'm a student professor. The toughest class on the campus then was Kai Cooley's 440 finance class. Jimmy had a test when they were in the tournament when they beat Michigan State, and they were playing freshman Allen Iverson, had them beat, and Ruben missed the front end of a 1-on-1 in Florida. The test was on Monday. That was Friday, Sunday games. They flew home. He's already home, and I says, Jimmy, you don't have to take this test. You know, I'll give you, Clyde told me to tell you I was the liaison for Dr. Cooley. Well, I'm ready. I said, when did you study? And he says, I studied on Saturday between games. He got the class high.
Oh,
Go, Weber.
When I saw, the first time I saw Jimmy DeGraffenreid play, it was just after he signed with Weber. And it was in the high school's 3A tournament. And I was with my buddies. And I was watching the game. I think he came out of Springfield High.
Be quick, we're running out of time.
So,
there's Napoleon Dynamite's house right over there.
Yep. And you can never go wrong with Napoleon Dynamite.
No, he's the shit.
He's the shit, man. Anyway, so DeGraffenreid went off on this game. He scored like 35, 36 points.
What a player.
And I said, that guy is going to be all Big Sky. He's going to be...
Which he was.
He's going to be an impact player.
He was.
And they go, oh, no.
He was great.
Because everybody thought that the big three that all went to BYU, what was his name? Emory?
Yeah.
The guy from Emory? Oh, John Bradley.
Sean Bradley.
John Bradley and Ryan Cuff and one other guy. I can't remember who the other guy was.
Sean Bradley and Ryan Cuff played on the same high school team.
Yeah.
So...
Which, by the way, Bradley ended up playing 1 year for BYU and then went pro after his mansion.
And what's his name said it was the biggest mistake he ever made, the owner of the 76ers.
Well, I know.
He said it was the biggest mistake of his life. And he said including his divorce.
But anyway, Ryan Cuff ended up playing it, and Ryan Cuff ended up finishing his career at Weber.
Yeah, he did. Ryan was a great dude.
What turned out to be the best collegiate player of all of those guys. Well, and I was saying to all my friends, I says, you mark my words, he's going to be all Big Sky. Oh no, he's too slow, he's too da. That's
the best team in the history of Weber State. Right, it was Jimmy DeGraffenreid and Ruben Nemhard with Coach, and Jensen, a Baglin, and another local. By the way, if they would have beat that game, if Ruben Nemhard would have hit that front end of 1-on-1, Joel Bash, I did the play-by-play, I was there. Joel in the hat, they told Ruben, that just cost you several $1 million. But anyway,
yeah,
that was the best team they ever had. They win that game, I think they would have went to the Final Four. They were that good.
They were good. They could have. They were good.
They were that good, and DeGraffenreid would hit that baseline jumper, bang, 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 and then they would circle around Ruben and post him on the post as point guard. He was so physical. That dude was unbelievable. He played a 10-day contracts in the NBA for that asshole Sloan. And Johnson wanted to sign him. Of course, you know what a dick. Johnson, there's Weber State guy, said they're from Idaho, by the way. Did you know Mata and Johnson are both from here?
That I did not know.
Soda Springs guys. Soda Springs High School. Here we're getting ready to go by Marsh Valley High. Ain't they the Eagles? So Lava, and then so let's cut this off. So go Weber, Rashid, Lightning. See you in the NFL, brother. And if the NFL needs to wake up, well, I think he's a first rounder. Stay tuned. The Diablo, Devil freaking mini bowl. Little SMR nuclear waste never hurt anybody.